Stimulus substitution theory by Pavlov. Pavlov suggested that as a result of conditioning, the conditioned stimulus become able to elicit the same response as the unconditioned stimulus. Why would Pavlov assume that the conditioned response and unconditional response were the same response? Pavlov was observing the same digestive response, for example, saliva and gaseous juice, as both the conditional response and unconditional response. The fact that both the conditional stimulus and unconditional stimulus elicit similar responses logically leads to the conclusion that the conditional response and unconditional response are the same. How does the conditional stimulus become able to elicit the same response as the unconditional stimulus? According to Pavlov, the presentation of the unconditional stimulus activates one area of the brain, a stimulation of the neural area responsible for the processing the unconditional stimulus. This is the activation of a brain center responsible for generating the unconditional response. In Pavlov's view, an inactive directed connection exists between the unconditional stimulus brain center and the brain center controlling the unconditional response. This neural connection allows the unconditional stimulus to elicit the unconditional response. How might the connection between the conditional stimulus and conditional response develop? When the conditional stimulus is presented, it is excited at distinct brain area. When the unconditional stimulus follows the conditional stimulus, the brain centers responsible for processing the conditional stimulus and unconditional stimulus are activated at the same time. According to Pavlov, the simultaneous activity of two neural centers leads to a new functional neural pathway between the active centers. The establishment of this neural connection causes the conditional stimulus to activate the neural center processing the conditional stimulus, which then arouses the unconditional stimulus neural center. Activity in the unconditional stimulus center leads to activation in the response center from the unconditional response, which then allows the unconditional stimulus to elicit the conditional response. Pavlov's stimulus substitution theory of classical conditioning. A. The unconditional stimulus activates the unconditional stimulus brain center, which elicits the unconditional response. Letter B. The conditional stimulus arouses the area of the brain responsible for processing it. Letter C. A connection develops between the conditional stimulus and unconditional stimulus brain centers with the continuous presentation of conditional stimulus and unconditional stimulus. And D. The conditional stimulus elicits the conditional response as a result of this ability to activate the unconditional stimulus brain center.
Created using Powtoon.